I was going to make this video humorous, but I ran out of time for editing, so this is just going to be a straightforward process video. To start out, I just had 3 skulls that I got from Walmart and some hydrographic dip film. I ripped off the jaw of all 3 skulls. The big one didn't have a hole in the bottom, so I dremeled a hole really quick so I could put a stick in there just for holding it while painting. I spray painted it a quick red. I painted the jaws that I removed as well, although I only ended up using the larger one. Here I measure out my hydrographic film and put masking tape on all of the edges to help hold its shape while I am dipping the skulls in it. Here you can see as well the white of the skulls is slightly transparent, which is why I painted them red, so that when I dip this it would be red skulls on a black background. The camera angles here are bad and I cut a lot of corners while hydro dipping, but that's okay because later on I intend to make it look very grungy anyway. Here I'm adding a layer of clear coat on top of the film, as the film itself can be rather fragile. You've got to love the camera angle on this one, super easy to tell what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing up Bondo and I'm using it to attach the larger skull to the dowel right now. And then we're going to cut over to right here. I'm using more Bondo as messy as I can to attach one of the smaller skulls to the larger skull. Messy as I can because it looks spookier and it's easier to do. So I'm just throwing that on really quickly. I let that dry and now moving on to the second skull, attaching that now to the bottom. Again, as messy as I can, you can see me sort of pull at it, make it stringy, and there you go, that's the finished bit. I didn't like how prominent the hydro dipping was, so I'm adding a thin layer of red on top so that you can still see it, but it's much less pronounced. So there it is, you can still see the skull pattern in there just a bit. It's harder over the camera, but in person you can still see it, but it's nice and faint, which is all I wanted. Originally it was supposed to be a joke, having skulls on skulls on skulls, but again, ran out of time for the jokes. So here I am, this really flat matte black that I'm using to paint all of the areas that I use Bondo. I wanted it to look like there was this strange velvety black just holding together these skulls on a pike. So I go through and I paint all of that. After painting all of the nose and eye sockets with the same velvety black I was using, I came back over with yet an even darker black on just the eyes and nose sockets so that they looked even more inset. You can see through here I'm doing just a little bit of dry brushing so that it's overall just a little bit dirtier, a little bit darker. I didn't like how bright it was in some of the larger open areas. Off camera I added the velvety black to the rest of the pole, and that is our finished product. It is 3 AM and I have to drive in the morning, so I'm going to bed.